Is Mojtaba Khamenei's nuclear ally now openly exposing Trump's real play as oil control rather than pure security? With Moscow blasting U.S. strategy in the Gulf, is Russia now arguing that Trump's true target was controlling oil flows, not protecting ships or stabilizing the region? As Russia links the Iran war directly to an American energy dominance agenda, is Trump's long-running oil grab strategy finally being laid bare on the world stage? When Putin's top diplomat warns that U.S. energy dominance now targets the Strait of Hormuz itself, is he signaling a deeper global power struggle over who controls the taps? Russia has swung in behind Iran in the Hormuz Row, casting the U.S. naval blockade as part of a wider global power struggle over energy and sea lanes. On April 18th, Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov said Washington's moves around Iran were aimed squarely at controlling oil, not just defusing security threats. Lavrov claimed the U.S. operation was designed to target and shape the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz and the wider Gulf. He bluntly argued that the real plans were to control the oil that passes through the Persian Gulf and through the Strait of Hormuz, not to blow up the world. Lavrov made the remarks at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey, where the Hormuz standoff has climbed to the top of the global diplomatic agenda. He also brushed off Trump's talk of destroying civilization as empty rhetoric, saying the real objective was strategic control over energy routes. Lavrov said, and I quote, "I do not think there really were plans to destroy civilization. I think it is just a figure of speech. But the plans were to control the oil that passes through the Persian Gulf, through the Strait of Hormuz." Unquote.
Our companies such as Lukoil and Rosneft, as you know, have already been targeted by new U.S. sanctions. The Trump administration itself announced these measures quite openly, making no secret of the fact that the objective is to secure U.S. dominance in global energy markets. Venezuela falls into the same category, as does the attempt in the Persian Gulf. The objective of achieving energy dominance of the United States has been clearly articulated. Nevertheless, I believe the time has come for a conversation regarding how the Americans envision the future of our economic relations.
Lavrov's intervention comes as the Iran-US standoff around the Strait of Hormuz escalates again, with both sides hardening their positions at sea. Just a day earlier, Iran had declared Hormuz completely open to commercial shipping, presenting the move as a goodwill gesture after recent truce talks. Tehran stressed that ships would still need to follow coordinated routes under Iranian maritime control, keeping its navy in charge of who passes and how. But on April 18th, Iran reversed course and reimposed restrictions on Hormuz, saying conditions had changed after U.S. announcements. Iran said the move was a direct response to the continued U.S. blockade of its ports, arguing they would not keep the strait open while their own harbors were sealed. Trump had already made clear that the U.S. naval blockade on Iran-linked shipping would stay in full force, even after Tehran first announced Hormuz was open. U.S. Central Command later boasted on X that 23 ships had been turned back to Iran since the blockade began, underlining how aggressively Washington is enforcing its new rules at sea. The United States has signaled that its military pressure campaign against Iran is not easing anytime soon, even as the conflict enters a more protracted phase. At the center of this strategy is a sweeping naval blockade focused on Iranian ports and key shipping routes that carry the country's export earnings. U.S. Central Command Chief Admiral Bradley Cooper said his forces can sustain the blockade against Iranian ports as long as necessary, underscoring Washington's long-term posture. Cooper made these remarks on April 17 in an interview with Al Arabiya, as reported by Iran International, outlining the scope and endurance of the operation. "We are watching every Iranian ship in every port. We have eyes on every Iranian port," Cooper stated, emphasizing that the U.S. has real-time surveillance and tracking over Tehran's maritime activity.
A great and brilliant day for the world, because Iran has just announced that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for business and full passage. But the naval blockade, with the greatest navy in the world, from the greatest military the world has ever seen, we built it during my first term. We built it. They said I was crazy. We weren't so crazy, were we? Will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete and fully signed. And this process, we're getting along well, but who knows with anyone, but who knows with Iran in particular. This process should go very quickly that most of the points are already negotiated and agreed to. You'll be very happy. The USA will get all nuclear dust. You know what the nuclear dust is? That was that white powdery substance created by our B-2 bombers, those great B-2 bombers, late one evening, 7 months ago. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. Iran will be, and you know how we're going to get the dust, right? Iran, we were going to take it anyway, but taking it that way is slightly more dangerous, but we were going to get it anyway. But Iran, with the help of the USA, has removed or is removing all of the sea mines, and most importantly, it never agreed, and you'll understand, they will never have a nuclear weapon. They will never have a nuclear weapon. And somebody said, how are we going to get the nuclear dust? We're going to get it by going in with Iran, with lots of excavators, because the B-2s, remember when fake news CNN said, well, maybe obliteration is too strong a word, obliteration. That's so deep. We need the biggest excavators you can imagine, but we're going to go in together with Iran, we're going to get it, and we're going to take it back home to the USA. Very simple. Yesterday, on top of it all, we achieved what everyone said was impossible, an unprecedented ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, and that hasn't taken place in 78 years. 78 years. Our deal with Iran is not in any way tied to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. I mean, it's about time we did so. We've sort of, the world has forgotten them, and they're good people who have lived like hell for a long period of time, and hopefully the situation with Hezbollah will get straightened out quickly. And I also want to thank Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. They've been amazing. They've all helped tremendously, tremendously. And it took courage for them. Not easy, not easy. They were living with what they call the bully of the Middle East. They had the bully. Iran was the bully of the Middle East. They're not the bully anymore. Our ancestors knew exactly what to do with America's enemies. Beat them and beat them good. That's what they had to do. That's what they had to do. And if NATO teaches us any one thing, and I hope you all watched, because they weren't there for us, if it teaches us any one thing, we have to rely on ourselves. We can't rely on outside countries and outside sources.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.